So I guess I wanted to start at kind of like how we all connected. You know what I mean? I know my story with both of you guys, but did you guys meet before you met me?
No. And did we actually meet before you met Meaty? Like theoretically in time and space?
Yeah. You and I met when I was 17 at a battle in Tempe, Arizona, that you and Joe performed the first dem act. And he was on the SP still back then.
Yeah.
And I battled, and I think I took second to last because I don't remember what happened. The crowd was kind of in favor of the last dude.
I thought you won, but you were the good one, and then your name was Yoda?
Yeah, my name was Yoda One back then. Yeah. Not a lot of people know that. That's crazy you remember that.
Yeah, man. I remember it. Jeff and I'll never forget. You were, just like, you were dope. It was great. That connection was original. And then you met Meaty. When did you meet Meaty?
Meaty, I brought him out, him and Off-White. I brought them out for a show because
oh, shit.
I found Off-White through the Filipino circuit because we're all Filipino. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's dope. I'm going to bring him out. I was throwing shows back then. I used to bring Shapeshifters out. I think it was like 18. Shapeshifters brought a bunch of people out. But then me and Meaty clicked up when Off-White brought him out, and it was like love at first sight, man.
Yeah, man. That's me and Joe. Same thing. I could tell y'all.
But you guys never met at Scribble Jam? Because when was the first year you went to, Meaty?
So I remember my homies came back from the Scribble Jam where you battled Eminem. And they were like
97, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, so I went 98. And I remember I was a junior in high school. And then I remember it was the summer or whatever, like going into senior year, and they were like, "Oh, Scribble Jam was crazy. There was dudes rapping over djembe drums, and some dude named
everywhere."
Yep. And they were like, I remember that summer being like, "Oh yeah, we got to go check out Scribble Jam next year." Like we were planning on it from that summer, but then I remember I probably first heard you on the Scribble Jam cassettes that were being bootlegged during that year through like gramophone.
Just with that battle with me and fucking Rock.
I had a super shitty cassette like bootleg that probably JR made or one of the dudes.
Right. Of course.
Those made it. But I think that was probably the first time I heard you. And then the first year I went was 98, and I copped the
Hemispheres.
Hemisphere. I had Hemispheres from my boy Dave. And then what was the tape you did? The gangster rap tape.
Oh, Blood and Guts.
Blood and Guts. I bought
a rare one right there. I love that tape.
There's like literally, I think, 50 of those. We did that shit in like 6 hours. That's crazy. Because and then I heard, the first time I heard Meaty Ogre beats was because I was selling everyone. When I worked at Amoeba, I was the underground hip hop buyer.
Oh, that's right.
And I was selling, and I met Off-White, and I was buying all y'all's shit, OTC. And then that was actually the first time I was like sitting in the back, playing the beats, hearing everything. But then everything.
Crazy how these worlds collide, man.
Yep. And then started with an email and 7 beats or some shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, what did I do? I think we just started with one.
Like,
when did I see you guys?
It's definitely it's Powerful Poisons was the first beat.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Which, the crazy thing that Zach reminded me of is that the first record we started with no breaks. It was the first.
Oh, yeah, and that was the first song.
First song, and then the last song was about, losing our friends. It's crazy. Shit just like dittoed itself.
Whoa. Damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yep,
man.
it's crazy.
That's wild.
We should say who Zach is.
Yes.
Definitely Zach is the driving force to the second album.
Yeah, Zach is just someone who really wanted more of what we do together. And he's said it the entire time, and we've looked for a million producers. And then I think that's huge, too, to just acknowledge Meaty. It's like, I know there's dudes out there making beats and Fruity Loops that would be like, I would have done it, but we needed a real partner. to make this music, you know.
And how trippy is it that you guys both had SP24s, man?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's great. It really was. It was the way it needed to be, which is not forced, you know. Felt like really just kind of happened, and then we were falling all over it. We pretty much went verse for verse. Did we record the whole thing in 2 months?
I think so, bro. Yeah, most
Right.
definitely. It was quick.
Yep.
Because we started back in, I can't even remember when we started. We started in like June? Maybe March.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah. That sounds right.
Whatever happened, it happened the right way and it happened divinely. You know, I didn't think we were going to make another record.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't into it. You know, all the shit that happened in between.
Yep.
I just kind of got tired with music, you know?
Tired
with life.
Not going to force it with people I know so well who are out there living. Sort of like, I feel like we were all recovering from our first attempt at living off this thing we're the best at or super driven to do. And then, but still, the quality of life for all of us has changed and is just as good. So there's something about that like puts a different fuel in the tank for this record. Like it wasn't old man grinding. It was like a new page.
Yeah, there was no judgment involved at all. The process was effortless.
Yeah,
it's magical, man. Whatever we're doing together, it's something special. And I'm glad that we're doing it. Proud that we're doing it. I'm proud of this record.
The wild thing for me with this record is that you guys didn't pass on any of the beats.
Yeah. We're like,
oh yeah, we didn't.
I was expecting it to be like every other beat or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it was.
You put a mood together. I don't know that it was intentional. You know,
I think it's cool too that Meaty was real open to the additional production because I think it would throw a lot of different producers off to be like, oh yeah, we like to add certain things in. And Adam likes to add his certain style into it, and every time he does it, it's perfect. So I trust it. I never even say nothing about it.
Well, this was cool that you were open to be minimal. We were just obeying. Meaty's work was minimal, so the additions had to be minimal, but it needed little shit, subs. Crap.
I think that's where the balance happens too, man. There's a lot of like intricacies and a lot of simplicities that go into this, and they mesh well together. You know, they marry like yin and yang.
This was definitely a kind of like whole new process for me of just like let it. Normally, I'm a control freak about what I do, and like you know, like
respect.
It was definitely a letting go process for me to be like, because basically I just sent you guys the roughs and I had planned on, you know, my normal process is just like send off some roughs and then sequence everything around the raps.
Man, I think that the excitement, the driving force behind this for me was the excitement to see what you guys were going to do next with everything, man, and making an addition to it. Be able to add something and see what was coming back.
And we made the most of it being remote. There was like no hindrance. So I think that we could have done it other ways. We could have done it the way that you're used to, but I was doing the vocals. So it like made it this really interesting work. But I actually, when I listen to that record, the last thing I hear is that it's 3 parts being glued together. It never, actually, I don't hear that at all, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking seamless.
Yeah, it came together beautifully, man. I think the addition with Gel too, like that was a huge for me. That's a win. You know what I'm saying? I love Gel. I've done some stuff with him, but never to the extent that I would love to. And to have him included in the Alpha project it's huge for me, man. I love Gel. Gel's a king to me, just like Meaty.
And I feel like you guys are super kindred, and that's what Jeff and I are, you know, like 100%. And I think we didn't need features on this record vocally, you know.
Right.
And we didn't really need it beat-wise, but somehow it made sense. And I hope we just end up making shit together.
Yeah, it all came together so perfect, man. I love the last record we did. And, you know, rest in peace, Alias. He smashed the last record.
Yeah.
That last record was amazing.
And, you know, I think, I don't know that, I think it's important to be said because it's like something that happened. But, you know, Alias, I have still, he made 7 beats for us for Alpha 2, you know?
Yeah.
And he passed within the month that he sent me those, you know? And they just are, you know, what that is. But that, I think that, at least for me, meant that when we returned to it, it needed to feel really right, which again is all about you, Meaty, making this beautiful music. Because it just felt like
it couldn't have been a better person, I think, to fill those shoes, man, because he's so easy to be around. He's comfortable to be around, and he just has an amazing ear.
Yep.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of the beats, all of this happened at a perfect time because, like, I made all of this stuff out of that same kind of spirit of losing somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I was really just kind of shocked and hurt when Virgil passed. He's somebody who I grew up with, and we didn't stay super close, but he would hit me up like every couple of weeks, like, yo, send me new stuff, send me what you got, like, let's do a Potions mega mix, let's get you on my radio station, like, what can I promote or whatever.
Right.
And like when he passed, it was just kind of like, damn, man, like I've had many people in my life who kind of like Virgil were just kind of like always reaching out and like fans and that were like trying to help. And I've always had this like kind of, you know, part of it is like a little bit of fear of blowing up or fear of like
success fear.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be in that kind of light, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
I can relate to that.
Also,
yep.
shyness and all this stuff, you know, and a lot of it, when he passed, I got into this kind of spirit, and I'm still there right now, just kind of like, man, fuck it all, like put it all out, like let it all go now, like I'm gonna die, you know what I mean? Like you feel that, and you feel how that precious, like, man, time is precious, and like I don't want to. This is our gift, and we gotta let go of all of this, you know, while we're still here.
And we
like,
do it for us.
There's always, I mean, and there's also so much more to give. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like we're just getting better with time. Everything is maturing in a way that it's like I'm still such a fan of both of you, you know, and just to hear everything progress, with all the pains and the traumas along with it, it's like, man, my mind is still blown from this record, you know?
Yeah.
I listen to it with fan ears, even though I'm a part of it, you know?
Let's actually, let's kind of go track by track a little bit and talk a little bit like about each song and what it kind of means, or where you guys, where your head was at. Like, let's just go through the record. So, Powerful Poisons, that was the first one we recorded, I think, or the first one that I sent.
Is that Ariana? All our shitty track.
I don't even remember
the fucking titles.
You know, I don't even remember those names anymore, but I was calling it that for almost a whole year.
I think it was.
When I make beats, I literally, when I name them, I just think of the first thing that comes into my head. It's like, I've been doing that since I started. It's like whatever dumb shit comes to my head, I name it. I just start typing.
Yeah, but so when we did, Mestizo wrote first and sent that rough, and whatever I was doing, I heard that, and I know that night, I think I took a little shrooms, and all the writing is super literal. I'm like sitting by the window, and I have to get this tooth pulled, and I'm just like, you know, on the edge, and got to a space where that whole thing is about like, am I about to do this fucking hardcore drug again of making a record with these people. Because something that happened to me when I lost Bren was I was like, that the last thing we did was make a record, and the fear of death, all that stuff, moving through that shit was with me, like that records are the last thing you do sometimes. Anyway, so getting back to this was super refreshing. Felt, really poetic. And then we did that first one, and then that was it. After we shared those two, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I think thinking about it now, like my whole verse started out with "Here lies the end," because with everything going on, there was like a scare that this is the end of the world, it's the end of everything, and I was like, no, that's a lie. It's not the end.
Nope.
The end is a lie. It's just the beginning of it. The life.
You know what's really important, man, is like Zoe, you and I, the way we do this thing that we do, it made us so close so fast that we weren't in contact. We went through all that shit, and then Meaty said yes. Meaty sent some beats, and then you and I instantly just like locked.
Yeah.
This feeling that all of Meaty's music was putting down. It's crazy. Something to that.
Very special, man.
Yeah.
And it's natural. That's when things have to be easy for me nowadays because my life's so hard.
Man.
I got 3 kids. And things are not easy for me on a daily basis.
Crazy. Yeah, when this hit, I was like, I don't know, how do I fit this in? And then next thing I know, I'm like blowing off work to like. It wasn't even a transition. It was like, fuck, So, what are you gonna do? And then
I knew the trail was set on fire when you started getting to work because I'm like, dude, he don't stop. You're a workhorse. You just keep going and going and going. I was like, I got to keep up. I'm not going to let him down this time.
Oh, man. Nah, we have a perfect tennis that we play with this shit. And then the next song, Rappers Are Haunted, we had this, which I think we're doing for the next music that's not out yet, going back and forth as much as possible.
Yeah.
And so that was how we did these, which I always think we could do more of, which always feels natural, even though it's fun.
Yeah, it's an ode to the past with like our twist on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's so decoded, and for me, anyways, like just going back and forth like Run DMC would be a dishonor to us.
Yeah.
I think it was very, very crafted well.
Yeah.
What is who are these haunted rappers you guys are talking about specifically?
Oh, dude, Toxic Masculine Gauntlet. It's like fucking, I don't know, the sameness of shit. I'm not here to like talk about the shit all these people always talk about, but motherfucking a lot of rap music is about a lot less things, and I think it really is about this sort of toxic masculine fucking thing. And they like, man, I don't know. It's a small world, And you fucking know, both of you know, rappers are haunted. Just like, you fucking know it. Both of you know somebody, but you know they're haunted as fuck.
Yeah.
My thing for this record, once we got started, was kind of a goal for me was to not use any samples, which One Deep, the next cut, is the only song on the record with samples, which I think that was the last one we recorded, right? Or one of the last ones?
Yeah, and then I just felt like it should be 2 interludes with the same energy spread out, and it worked. I don't know what. It was definitely one of the last ones, but I think it wasn't. Yeah, that beat was one of the last beats you said. All that.
I think that it's really, like, I tried really hard to let our styles complement each other on this. It's like letting you chop on one and me going slow on another. Yeah. I think it's an amazing contrast, man. It just keeps things interesting.
And the content is super, like yours is super reflective, and mine is like a introspective. It's
right.
It's interesting. I think it works, and it actually is a nice breath of like, I don't know, something that inspires us that we don't do naturally, which is like jazzy shit. Not that it is jazzy, but like we can take the same energy and slide it slightly to the right and feel at home on something.
Right.
No.
It all worked really well, man.
Yeah.
I think I've been trying to like figure out what song is my favorite on there, but for me, Game Over just hits so hard. It's such a stabby track. Like when I'm cutting on a turntable, I just want to do stabs. And that track is just all stabs to me. We rode that rhythm so well. Me, mine's more of an off kilter and yours is sharp, so it's really, it complements each other well. I can't say that word enough, man, because we just complement each other so well. It's something special, man. It feels really, really good, man.
Most of that shit, I think this might be one of the first times that we both chopped really hard and there never was a steady drum element.
Right.
So Meaty just had the staccato guitar synth riff.
We were the drums of that track. Yeah.
Yeah, which like usually there's drums and you mute them. But this one was all to the raw. And then we had this fucking nightmare of moving everything around.
In the process of making this record, which I made everything, half of the beats were on the SP1200. Game Over was on the SP1200, and we had a problem syncing up because these guys wrote to the rough bounces that I made off of just direct from the SP1200, but it wasn't MIDI synced up. So what we learned in the process of this record is over time, if you play a beat straight out of the SP, it slowly goes off the grid, like a natural like drummer would. Doesn't play to a click. So like we kept on, like we couldn't figure it out for almost like a month, and Adam had to fix it, like millisecond nudges of the vocal.
So basically, like each bounce is unique. So when we stem, those are unique. The bounces we wrote to. So I guess the advice for all these motherfuckers is make sure that what you send to rappers is what you have tracked and gridded in Ableton just for future movement. Because now we have this issue where, like, if we send this to someone to remix, they have a I always used to call it white bohemy, but like when like European dudes back in the day would do remixes, they'd like have some crazy beat that's not really where I was rapping. And I sound like I didn't know what I was doing. And like if we sent these shits out that are like nudging all the time, it would be fucking a nightmare. Yeah. Anyway, so it's, but that said, the SP sound mixed with the S2400 sound is absolutely what makes the record romantic. I don't think it makes it a throwback. It just adds that element bromance.
Yeah, so the S2400 is what the other half of the record was produced on, which is like the new version of the SP1200 kind of, but that came out only like a year and a half ago, so we were kind of stoked on that, like this being, possibly one of the first rap records produced on the S2400, which is
that's Isla Instruments, by the way, too, and it's great. I bought one just on spec, and then it happened to be that we were sharing it. File transfer was super easy. It was pretty fucking. It was way easier than I thought it would be. So
Joe did a few drum additions to some of the tracks too, right?
Yeah, and he did like, we kind of worked subtle style where we would it's not actually all about drum machines, Jeff would be like, what is it? Is it How Far? One of the songs? Maybe it's Powerful Poisons. Anyway, he was like, this needs just a gong. So we were hitting this. I have like a lawnmower blade from the 60s that's gigantic. So we just hit that with a crowbar. And then on other shit, he played some shaker. Then he played live drum kit shit, Tomato 8 stuff. We just, kept it minimal. Basically, I think that's what's important to say is like the most of the additions that I did to what Meaty already created were only as the beat progressed, you know, and they were extra layers to just make it progress a little more. And most of my shit was melodic and like revoicing, turning his samples to MIDI, and then revoicing them and echoing them, and then doing some vocal shit. And then I just let the only percussion additions be Joe. And then I guess I did some ghosting. Like there were a couple tracks where, compared to the other 8 tracks, 10 tracks, the kick wasn't hitting. So I had to like be a bitch and sit there and stick a fucking 1,000 kicks in. But
I think that's a part of it too, man, that made this record so good, is that there was so much, there's different hands on parts of the record. And for me, like back in the day, a good record had like 15 dudes on it. You know, there were only a few people got credit for it, but a lot of people contributed, and it made the records amazing. Because having another pair of ears and hands is it could be a good contribution.
yeah, and I love taking Meaty's feedback. I wasn't trying to like, he was the boss. I felt like I was just like cooking on some show for him. I'd be like, is this okay?
No, like after the first couple ones, it was just like, yeah, let's just let it go, like let it progress however it felt natural. Also, like, I'm kind of the type where I love making like a 16 bar loop, and then I get bored of it and walk away.
Right.
You know, and like, I barely ever come back to those type of things. So a lot of the stuff that I sent you guys was like, it'd be like 32 bars or whatever. And then, you know, normally my process, I'd be like, all right, send me back the vocals, and then I'll chop around those, and I'll make every bar different and keep the variety going. But I also feel like it's really fun. This was a fun new way for me to do things, like to just let you run with it, because it freed up my mind, so I can like, because I have trouble with sequencing out beats, like for rappers.
Right.
Like, you know, back in the day, we would just be like, all right, 32 bars, 8 bar hook, 32 bars, 8 bar hook. And I'd make all my sequencing the same way, you know what I mean?
And to be clear, on this record, it's like JJ does 27.5 bars. And then I do whatever the fuck I do. There's zero. And then like,
there's no structure.
No, and
there's double choruses.
Yeah, we sort of temper that by relying on each other and filling in blanks and leaving space. And I think that's actually like,
I don't think there should be a structured limit to what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? That's how I've always worked. These dudes knew it when I was on Galapagos. They'd be like, what the fuck? This is like 42 bars. I'm like, yeah, but this is what I want to say.
Yep.
So it's into this bar.
Yep. And then you punch it up with, like, I think that's the thing about this record that is, except for the back and forth songs, it's like really the art of verse, and it's not trying to fuck around about that. And that's not really about being remote. It's basically being that kind of, I think that's what's hardcore rap about it, even though it's adult as fuck and about all these things. You know, I think it's really this stand and deliver, one rapper, minimal beat, drilled, the other rapper raps, you feel like they're in the same fight, but they're winning differently. It's very, it's very distinct.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it, man. Yeah, most definitely.
I wonder how younger people will hear our music. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of the feedback from people we've been getting are people like our age or like from our era that are like still checking for us or whatever. But I wonder, like, it's weird. We're in a world where we are completely separated kind of entities from that whole new generation. And I wonder, like, where the gap is, like how this is gonna connect with like these younger people. You know what I mean?
I think young kids nowadays are more ready for it now than they were back when underground was kind of popping. I think kids are more open to to different styles, and especially when it comes to lyrics, because if you hear some of these new young rappers, they're all over the place. They don't just stick to one, like, you know, there isn't a million Tupacs out there anymore, you know? It's like everybody's kind of different now.
Differentiating. Yeah, I mean, the only way I see it spreading is, you know, that it influences that, like, hardcore people who really like lyrics and rapping get into it and are young. I don't know how they fucking find it, you know. They're sliding right on some shit. But I think that's how they would lock on it, you know. But again, I think I've been thinking about this a lot. It's the weird conversation. Is like, I'm really happy being underground. I don't fucking care if someone, I think it's a really good thing when someone is like, I wish more people knew about this. It's been there my whole career.
Yeah.
It matters more than like people liking one song a lot for no reason.
Right.
You know. And meanwhile, I realized on this whole journey with you guys is like, I wasn't sure if I was going to make music. So making it and having it mean everything to me is what is important. Everything after that is part of the job, which is like, I take seriously, but that shit is not vital.
I think that's where we all really are on the same page, and like why we all connect too is like, that's been me my whole life, and Jay too. Like, I mean, I don't like to be. I DJ'd for all these dudes, Galapagos dudes, and I didn't even want to. Like I was a reluctant DJ, a reluctant performer. You know, like I wanted to go have fun and hang out, but you know, I've always been that way, and I still am. Like I'll do a show. I did the Galapagos 4 reunion show. Like, I don't think I even looked out in the crowd one time. I just played my set, you know, looking down at the, you know, that's kind of just how I've always been. But at the same time, I know our shit is crazy dope, and like, I like that underdogness, you know, like I've always been that way. That's how I like.
Always been the underdog, the outcast, all of it. I think like music at this point for me it's so ingrained into my soul that it's like, I'm gonna die doing it for sure. I don't give a fuck about chasing money. I don't give a fuck about chasing a scene. I don't care if people listen. I care if we're putting out really good music. But when they do listen, it makes me feel good. It's a bonus. And if something comes of it, it comes of it. But it's like, this process is so special to me, man. It's really sacred what we do. And I don't give a fuck if people like it or not. I'm glad that they do. But as long as we like it and we're happy with it, and the integrity is there, the honesty is there, and the artistry is there.
And I'd rather have this music that we make be part of someone's quest than their playlist. You know, like, I think we make music for artists, so I'd rather have it be a part of how they art, however subtly or overtly, rather than be, you know, I don't know, all over the place. I don't know what it means. That shit means nothing to me. I think that it means shit to people. I think this record is, it's for me, you know, after a million fucking records, this has been a new lesson in like, what's it like to do a record right now and have it mean everything to you, but let it go in this era that you don't really enjoy, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's
like, it's like dropping a needle in a haystack, what we just did, because there is so much music out there now, bro.
It's like the beginning, though, you know, when no one knew me. We were just making music, the best music we could make. And we put it out, we made 100 or 200, and then things started to happen. I think that it's epic to like go through that scale and actually appreciate making it more than what it makes the world do for you. And we're like super privileged. I know privilege is a weird word for it because we all work really hard to be alive and have made it through all the music and life we've made. But we get to be in a space where we can like do it right, which is fucking, that takes integrity and timing.
the thing right now that's where we are in this weird space is like we were coming up in the late 90s. Underground meant something real because you knew like underground meant you couldn't go into Best Buy and
You couldn't get it. Yeah.
you couldn't get it. It was like you know, punk style. Like you had to mail order or you had to like send off an email and like hopefully hear back a week later. I guess you had like Sandbox Automatic and a couple of specific websites you wanted to get the.
But you know what? So the new underground is just less people knowing.
Yeah.
So like, because we're on Spotify, yes, you know, for a while, a couple of weeks. So the reality is just like what it was is less people knew because less people could get it. No one saw it. They didn't know, you know.
Right.
And now it's this new thing, which is like not a bad thing, which is like, for me, I cherished still to this day when I hang out with a homie like you guys when we were kicking it, making the record in the yard, we start talking about movies. I'm like, I hope Meaty has 2 movies to recommend. And you do. And I have 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope this record, that's something it has a high chance to be. It's like something you can tell someone about that they're not into, you know, despite it being on all this corporate crap.
And this record gets better with every listen, man. That's like,
yes.
I play it every morning. It's nostalgic. I watch the sun come up to it. But
yeah,
it was something special. We made it happen. I'm glad we made it happen. Thanks for doing this, because this is the first time I've done this show in like fucking 3 years since all this COVID shit happened.
Yeah, man.
Glad you guys are on the lyrical, miracle, spiritual show.
Oh, that's what this is right now?
Yeah, bro. You're on it again twice.
I love it.
I'm like,
it's got a ring to it.
Like, episode 2.
I made this little like jingle for the intro. Lyrical, miracle, spiritual.
Yeah, man, and we're making new music, so that's it. That's that.
New music, new A7PHA coming, lots of new stuff coming.
Yep.
You got a new record coming. You got a new record coming. I got a new record coming.
Yeah,
Hands made.
No spoilers. Hands made all the way. Zach, casting.
Hands made. Shouts to Zach.
Yeah.
But I love you too, man. Thank you for doing this.
Very much.
Too, man.
Yeah.
So happy this could happen. And I'm not we're not resting on laurels, man. I'm always thinking like the next one, you know, whatever.
Yep. This summer.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I got a lot in store. I got a lot of heat to send you guys. So
also a couple special treats coming from the first.
There's some secrets. We're working on some things and they're coming soon. And then we're gonna work on this new record. We should do this summer at my house. Let's do fucking 2 weeks and make it a thing, man. Make a bunch of music from scratch.
Yeah. Your house has now become the Mecca for A7PHA.
That's what I'm fucking talking about. I got these cats, bitch. Let's fucking
this time I'm gonna sing that song.
Haircuts, cats, hot tubs, and fucking raps.
We gotta people gotta look out for the videos coming too.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Videos coming. Meaty Ogre Grenades 2.
Yep.
New doseOne EP, new Mestizo EP, new A7PHA stuff. Keep your ear to the streets because we're standing on them.
Right. Love y'all.
Love you guys, man. I'm gonna cut it because I'm probably gonna die here pretty soon.
Do it.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Lyrical, spiritual. Lyrical,